without further ado, I would like to welcome Thomas Wiesel. Thomas Wiesel, he's a stand-up comedian. He's a huge star in Switzerland, even though you guys only know Roger Federer. But he's huge in Switzerland. He has more than 200,000 of people following him on the social network in a country that's not even 8 million of people. So if you don't know Thomas Wiesel, just run, check him out on YouTube. He has a lot of videos. Some of them are in English. True story, he started his career as an accountant, actually, and then he decided to become funny. And since then, he performed in many stages in Paris, Brussels, London, Montreal, and South Africa. He has a super cool roast on YouTube about South Africa. He's been seen also on TV, especially in the TV show Quotidien in France, that is the major one. And he even hosted his own late night show in Switzerland. He performs mostly in French, but for today, he accepted to do it on Zoom in English. So we are super proud to have him with us during the whole I Today. Please welcome Mr. Thomas Wiesel.
Thank you. Hello. I'm supposed to kick off this conference, and Stefan explained to me that they put the comedy first, so the Americans had a reason to get out of bed. Ta-da! If someone had told me 8 years ago when I started this career that one day I would be used as a human alarm clock to people half an ocean away, I probably would have stayed an accountant. Anyway, this is really, really weird for me. I'm used to live audiences. There's nothing usual about this. I'm just going to take this microphone here. It's not even linked to anything. It's just so I feel a bit more comfortable. I have something in my hand. Power of habits. It's a bit weird performing to people all over the world. Actually, we saw that about half of you are in Switzerland, which means we totally could have done this event at EPFL with a live audience, which is 10,000 times better for comedy. But no, we need to innovate, and we have a completely online, worldwide event because this is the future. Well, we saw it's not worldwide because it's the middle of the night in Asia, and the lineup is good, but sleep is still way better. So we have almost no French people because it's in English. So that's what happens when you have an event in English. French people don't show up. So you may wonder what a comedian is doing at an online innovation conference. And if you manage to find an answer, please share it with me because it'd be great help. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is really weird. This is not the ideal setting for comedy at all. Being a comedian is honestly an incredible job to have any other year than 2020. When your job is going in front of groups of people and making them laugh, and the entire world bans the concept of a group of people, it's not been my best financial year, let's put it that way. Working from home has sucked because I live alone. I had a bit of a blank page syndrome this week. I really didn't know what to talk about, and Stefan was trying to help me, and he told me, well, you can make jokes about COVID. Wow, thanks for that great idea. That's the brilliant innovation brain of his. Jokes about COVID. What do you think I've been doing for the past 6 months? My airplane material food? Anyway, this is, according to the unbiased opinion of the people organizing it, the first cool virtual conference in the world. So if anybody listening ever organized an online event yourselves, please know these guys thought it sucked. And the Democratic National Convention with Michelle, Barack Obama, Eva Longoria, Bernie Sanders, Bill Clinton, it's amateur hour compared to this, the Innovation Today Summit. And the proof is that the Democratic Convention is free. This one you actually have to pay to listen to. I saw on the website the different prices. There are 3 types of tickets. The replay one for $49. It's a conference hosted in Switzerland by Swiss people, but the price is still in dollars because the US is the world's corporate overlords for a few more months before you guys finish burning your country to the ground, and then we'll put everything in ones for the Chinese. So there's $49 for the replay. Then Live Pass is $89. And then this is why I think those people are geniuses. There's an all access pass for $169. They're selling an all access pass to an online conference. I don't even know what that means. You can meet the speakers, apparently. If one of you shows up to my office, I'm locking the door, I'm telling you. Apparently, all access means you're not just watching the live, you're in the Zoom call as it's happening and you can react. They actually asked me if I wanted to have a few of the microphones on so I could hear people laugh, and I said, oh, no. I'd rather have you guys all on mute and wondering if you're laughing than having you unmuted and knowing that you're not. And anyway, nobody laughs alone in their own living room unless you're a serial killer. And Steph told me you basically live online half the time. This is your normal reality right now, being online with people all over the world. So I'm truly flattered to be performing for an audience of sociopaths, and I hope you thought the extra $70 to be live on the Zoom chat are really worth it right now. You're all video conference experts. I'm not at all, by the way. This is really weird for me. And a lot of people like me, I've had to do it for the first time during this pandemic. There have been a ton of mishaps. This week, one of my favorite mishaps happened. You may have seen it. I'm going to share it in the Slack chat. It was in Rio de Janeiro. They had the city council, and one of the city council members, it's on the Slack chat right now, forgot to turn the camera off and went on and had a little private moment. You can see it as a GIF on the Slack chat. So if you see on the middle right, someone from the city council of Rio de Janeiro went and had sex in the middle of the city council. So it's pretty much, I think they were talking about how to give food to people in need during the pandemic. And I think it's a good metaphor of how much politicians care about their citizens in this time of need. The whole thing lasts 1 minute and 39 seconds, by the way. So I don't want to hear anybody say politicians are not efficient. That's impressive time management. And that's pretty revolutionary multitasking, because they can ask all those in favor, say yes, yes, papi. Anyway, I beg of you, if you have a pressing sexual need, try to time it so that it doesn't happen now, but during one of the boring speeches. And please keep your microphone on so we can live chat about it on the Slack. And the Slack is apparently open during my thing, so I'm not going to look at it right now because my conference is already holding on by a shred, but I'll read it afterwards. And if you had better punchlines than me, I'm going to steal them from my next Innovation Online conference, because these are desperate times. I'm talking to a computer screen. I'm performing in basketball shorts. I don't even have pants. I didn't shower this morning. I've already given up my dignity. There are no rules anymore. I can do what I want. And apparently with All Access, you can also ask questions after the talks. And I think this is meant for the other speakers, because please don't ask me questions. I have no idea what this conference is about. I tried to read about it. I have no idea. I looked at the list of topics on the website: sustainability, strategy, future of work, growth, entrepreneurship, agility, and stand-up, because they had no idea where to put me. So I had to create my own category, and that's pretty much the only category I know anything about. I saw that the speakers are very diverse. We have people who work at Google, people who used to work at Google, people who love to work at Google. It's already all types of speakers speaking today and tomorrow. No, there are a lot of other people too, but whenever you do something about design or innovation, the GAFAs are not really far away. We saw recently with the anti-COVID apps all over the world, in every country, governments realized that 99% of the world's smartphones are operated by either iOS or Android. And so they needed Google and Apple's help while also protecting people's privacy. And usually when you have Apple, Google, and privacy in the same sentence, you also have the word breach or violation in that same sentence. But they did accept to help this time. They found a method to do it without having our personal data. And in fact, most anti-COVID apps protect our personal data so much, the governments have almost no way of knowing if they're actually working well or not. In Switzerland, they said that to check if the app was working, they would have to call people on the phone who have been in contact with positive cases and ask them individually if they got a notification in the app, which they can't do, because then it would give away the fact that they've known our whereabouts thanks to our telephones way before this pandemic. So they haven't done it. So we have no idea whether the app works. Thank you, Google and Apple, for the help. And in Switzerland, we also have EPFL, we have ETH in Zurich, we have a lot of tech startups, but doctors are filling in COVID case reports by hand and sending them to the Ministry of Health by fax. Fax machine in 2020, so I think they're still getting the last few reports from the 1968 flu pandemic in, and then they'll be ready to tackle COVID. So even in 2020, we can see there are areas where innovation and technology have not really reached yet. Too often, I think innovations and technologies, they're supposed to make people's lives easier or better, and they get sidetracked and they're used to make as much money as possible by any means necessary. I really would like to have useful inventions. I don't want a selfie stick. I don't want a hoverboard, because they should be sued to hell. The thing doesn't hover at all. I don't want Bitcoin. I never understood what it was for. I want a washing machine that folds your clothes. That's what I want. I want an app that can pick up the phone for me and tell people to text me, because this is the 21st century and nobody should call anymore. I want public transport without any public at all, and that actually drops you off in front of where you're going. And I know I'm describing taxis and I did not invent anything, but neither did Uber. And it still took us 10 years to realize their only actual innovation was not paying its drivers decently and keeping the profits. And I know I'm a hypocrite for criticizing all of this, because I love technology. I use Google. I know I should use a Cosia or whatever, but habits are hard to break. I love Apple products. You can see I have headphones in. I don't love the fact that Apple is now worth $2 trillion. Apple's yearly revenue is higher than the GDP of 80% of the world's countries. This scares me a lot. I'm 31, so I remember when I had to tell my brother to hang up the phone so I could go on the internet to send an email. And nowadays we have Netflix on our phones. and we can watch billions of hours of entertainment while we take a poop. And I think it's incredible that Netflix found a way to design all that, but they still haven't found a way to pay taxes in the countries where they earn money. I'm a kid of the internet. I love the internet. I love the fact it brings the world together. It's doing so today. It also allows someone from the other side of the world to tell me in the YouTube comments of my videos to go have sexual intercourse with various farm animals. Brings the world together. No invention is perfect, of course, but please never stop making stuff better, making stuff more energy efficient, easier to use, cheaper, more recyclable. You guys have a lot of work to do, and be sure that if you mess up, people like me will be in the YouTube comments making fun of you. Have a good conference. Thank you very much.
You can unmute yourself to clap. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Bravo. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. And Thomas is coming back tomorrow to debrief day 1 and tease day 2.